Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Karen with Creative Paper Artisan, and this is part 2 of my bookshelf spine project. You can purchase this kit in my shop, and I have a video on how to assemble this. I can link that below. And but I thought I would go ahead and show you how to make an actual cover using this spine, because it's a little bit different, I understand. So what I'm going to do is really quite simple. This is basically a 2-inch spine. I think by the time it's all said and done, it's 2 inches. So, and the size of this works very well with most of my kits, especially my vintage bibliophile kit, which is what this paper is from. Actually, both of these papers are from my vintage bibliophile kit, and I can link that below as well in case you want to get your hands on that. But I would say all but one of my kits would fit this size, except of course for the traveler's notebook, because they're taller and skinnier. But any of my regular kits will fit this. We'll make a journal this size. So I went ahead and cut some chipboard, and just to let you know exactly what it is 5 1/4 by 7 1/2. I think I cut that a little bit larger than that, maybe a hair more than 7 1/2. But that will be a nice cover for my journals in my Etsy shop, because they're going to be slightly smaller than that, and this will give it a little bit of an edge. So what I'm going to do, basically, I'm just going to wrap. Let me move this aside for a minute. I'm going to wrap the front and back with this paper. And I just printed it on regular copy paper because I wanted it to be easy to fold, and don't want a whole lot of fighting. I don't want to fight with it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will do that quickly. Well, I will speed up the video so that you don't have to watch the whole process, but just in case you don't know how to do it, I will keep the video going, but we're going to speed it up a bit so that you can see what I intend to do here. And this fits very nicely. I don't need to do much trimming. I'm going to trim this off, of course, but this is going to be super easy and quick. All right. Okay, so here we have our front and back covers. Doesn't really matter which one's which. I'm thinking, actually I'd planned on doing this for the back, but I think I want this for the front. We'll see. Okay, so now, I guess I do need to decide pretty soon here, don't I? Let's see. I think I'll stick with this for the front. Okay. All right. So let's grab our spine, our finished spine. And if you were with me for the initial video of how to put this together, you'll see that we did score. There's a very faint line here that we scored. And now is the time that you're going to be very glad that you scored that, because it'll be much easier to fold this where it needs to go. So, and actually this one I did not score correctly the first time around, so I had to rescore it. But I think we're in good shape now, because you basically want this to be quite flush, right? Because we're going to be doing a hidden spine on here. But that's going to be a different video. Just in case many of you may know how to do a hidden spine already, but I want to go ahead and do a video for that, just in case someone is new to that as well. So, okay, so here is the top and the bottom. So I want to make sure I've got that going in the right direction. Okay, so now what we're going to do is with this little overhanger here, we're going to sandwich that between the cover and what I'm going to use for my my end paper. And this is also from the Vintage Bibliophile kit, and I printed this on cardstock just so that it would give it even more stability, and there wouldn't be such an obvious bump when you see this here. With cardstock on there, it'll be not even detectable at all. So I'm going to have to cut this. I'm going to cut this right to size, as close as I can. And I'll also ink the edges. I'll probably ink the edges of this too. If you wanted to, you could maybe cut into it a little bit and maybe shave a little bit off. I may do that. We'll see. We'll see how much in the way it ends up being. I think it'll be okay. Or maybe cut it at just a very slight angle. May do that. But first I'm going to cut the end papers, and I will try to make them as exact as possible, even though I have noticed my cutter is not exactly always square. But I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4 by 7 1/2, and that should do the trick. So let me cut these real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got these trimmed up nicely, and I may or may not need to trim them just a hair. I don't know. I think that may be just about right, but we can always trim it a little bit. So let's see, which is, okay, I'm going to do this one as the front cover and then this one as the front end page. So let me get these guys out of the way so I don't confuse myself, which you may or may not know is not hard for me to do. Okay, so I want to make sure that this is definitely going to be at the fold where it needs to be, so it can fold all the way back like that. And I believe I am going to just take a very, very, very slight, it's hard to go at that angle. Let me go from this angle. Just a very slight angle off on the very ends here, just so that there's not a chance of, fighting with white paper coming through. So, all right, so let's make sure we've got everything right side up. And that goes there. And then that will go there. Yes, I love it. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to ink the edges of this really quick to give it a more finished look. And if you know me at all, you know I can't not ink. I think there's been 1 or 2 times that I opted not to ink, and that's very, very rare. So here we go. Just a little bit to make it look, to take that white edge off, but also to make it have a bit of a vintage feel for those of you that are new to inking. All right. Okay, so now I am going to use, I could either use my art glitter glue or I could use my E6000 glue. I'm debating because I don't think I have quite enough of the E6000. if I had a new tube, I would maybe go this route because I have a little bit of time to manipulate and move things around a little bit. The art glitter glue is a little bit, you have to work a little bit quicker. Just word to the wise. So I'm gonna live on the edge here, and I'm gonna do it with my art glitter glue. But I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay. But let me go ahead and make sure where I know where that needs to be. I'm just gonna go ahead and put a healthy dose of this on here because I want it to hold really well. Obviously, it's the cover. It needs to be sturdy for sure. And art glitter glue is definitely good and sturdy. So now I'm going to stand up so I can see from the top and the bottom here. I want to make sure that everything is flush on the top and the bottom. I'm just going to give it some pressure to get it good and stuck. Good and stuck. Okay. All right, so now we're going to open this up and I'm going to glue this right on there. So now's the time to see if I need to trim it up a little bit. I think, let's see, if I go from this angle. Okay, all right, see here what I meant with the white peeking out? I could have done a little bit more there. Let me see if it's too late. Let me use my little, it may be too late. Hang on. Maybe not. Just trim another little sliver off. Okay. Well, that's a little bit more than a sliver, but I think that's actually going to be okay. Yep. And this is stuck. Well, I was going to say stuck a little bit too much, but I can always camouflage it with ink. But since I have a little bit of a lip here to cut, I can just trim that off very carefully. I don't want to cut my other paper. Very carefully, very carefully. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of inking. Let me see. A little bit of inking there. Whoops. Going wild here. A little bit of inking here just in case some of that white wants to show. And I think this end ended up being quite hidden. But just a little bit. Okay. All right. That should do. So then I need to trim any from here is the question, because I don't want it to hinder when I fold it like this, right? So let's look here. There is a little bit overhanging here, so I am going to trim it. All right. These are all just little details. You want to just take your time and make sure everything is right before you glue it down. And save yourself a little bit of trouble there. Okay, so let me see here. If we hold it up like this again, I don't see any white peeking out now. So, and I don't want it to hinder anything. Okay. All right. So now, honestly, I'm not sure if inking this edge is necessary because you'll probably never see it once we put the signatures in. But I'm going to feel better knowing. That it's inked in the depths of the spine there. Okay. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and get art glitter glue all over this puppy, and then we're going to very carefully, get it lined up again. I'm going to go from the edge where the spine is again to make sure that I'm giving myself enough room for that bend, right? So let's see. I want to make sure I'm right side up. Okay. So move fast. Got to move fast here. I'm going to go here and bend it up so it doesn't go any further than it needs to. And these edges are okay. Okay. Sandwich it real quick. All right. Get it good and flat. Don't want any bubbles. No bubbles, please. Okay. Ooh, that's looking good. I am loving it. Okay. Yes. All right. So now we'll do the same thing with the back cover. Okay, you guys. So that's pretty much it. I wish you could see it from this angle. You'll kind of see a little bit how it'll look like on a bookshelf. So cool. So cool. Now, all that's left is to do the hidden signature. And if you bought my the bookshelf spine kit, this was one of the files that came with it. And I have two different sizes. They will both fit in a 2-inch spine. And one is for 3 signatures and one is for 4 signatures. I will not do that in this video. I will have a separate video for that. And it may or may not be uploaded by the time you're seeing this one in particular. If it's not, if I don't have it linked below yet, let me know in the comments if you would like to see a video on how to do a hidden spine. Okay. I know many of you probably already do, and so you won't need that. But if anyone needs to know, let me know, and I'd be happy to do that for you sooner rather than later. Okay. So there you go. That is how you make the cover for the bookcase or the bookshelf spine. All your little collection of mini books. And this is a great idea to use with my vintage bibliophile, because it's, for bibliophiles. If you're a book lover and you're making a book journal, how cool to have a bookshelf spine kind of incorporated into it. I had so much fun designing this. I hope you're having fun creating it, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much.